The way the doctor explained it to me, just based on my weight and the results, had clearly shown that I had been pre and then actual diabetic for quite some time, but didn't know about it. It was put to me that it would be unlikely that I would make my 33rd birthday, being 32 at the time, if I didn't make a significant change. After he diagnosed me, he gave me some pamphlets and phone numbers and said that he wanted to see me when he got back from holiday, so I had a couple of weeks to digest everything. Doc said if I left it unchanged, that as a minimum I'd have permanent kidney damage, liver damage, definitely have to go into insulin injections, and he seemed relatively serious as my doctor can be, that there was potential for some form of fatality due to my health. So for many years prior to this, I would eat the wrong foods, drink too much alcohol. Not always junk food, I do like to cook, but being single, I would cook probably enough food for 4 or 5 people and somehow manage to...
A dinner party for one.
Somehow try and consume the entire amount at the time, because it was always pretty good food. And then going out on the weekends, I would drink too much and then eat the wrong food, and there was never any exercise involved at all. It probably took me 2 or 3 weeks after being diagnosed before I decided that I should go and find more help than just a standard gym. I knew that I wouldn't be able to lose the weight on my own. The doctor did suggest that if I didn't lose the weight in time, I'd have to have lap band surgery. So at the same time as me researching gyms and personal trainers, I also had a look at the lap band procedure and all that sort of stuff. And then I was told about vision from someone that I work with, and that's when I made the appointment.
I think there was definitely a drive for Dave to improve his health and his condition. I mean, basically in a nutshell, he was told that if he didn't improve things, he was gonna die. And I mean, as a personal trainer, we always want to uncover people's why or their pain, and that was pretty clear. What his driving force was. The first meeting with Dave, he actually popped down with, I think it was a work colleague of his who had been with another vision studio and had some pretty good results. Dave came down and was a bit, was clearly very serious about what he had to do, but he's a bit of a joker, so it was a pretty fun IC actually. Discussing his previous life habits and stuff like that, and I just remember amongst all of the joking, he looked at me very seriously and said, do you think I can lose 50 kilos in 6 months? And I was like, yeah, of course you can, mate, definitely. And just basically explained the vision process and how we can help him through nutrition. Dave ate pretty well, but serving size was a big thing for him and needed a lot of help with nutrition and a lot of guidance.
So able to do more and be more active, even without the exercise. Just cutting out the crappy food and the alcohol means that you've got more energy.
Yeah, we basically filled Dave's macronutrients with unprocessed natural foods, cut out a lot of starch, all the carbohydrate that he's using to fill his macronutrients come from a little bit of fruit and a lot of vegetables, lean proteins, and of course moderate amount of good fats through oil, avocado and nuts. I've never actually seen anybody eat as perfectly as Dave does, especially in the last 9-week challenge. I told him that he should have a cheat meal after 9 weeks of eating perfectly. So he tried to eat some pizza, which didn't stay down for too long, and he had poached chicken and egg whites for dinner. What a legend.
What I've learned from nutrition, I don't know where I can start. When I first walked into Vision, I had no idea of, not that I didn't have any idea, but I never bothered to look at the back of the label on the back of a product. I didn't really care about carbs or protein or fat. None of that really bothered me. It's incredible now that I can get to a point where I can look at pretty much any food item in the supermarket and I can tell you what the carb, protein and fat content is, how long it'll take me to burn it off, how much of it is simple, how much of it is complex, is it processed, is it not processed. So my own knowledge is phenomenal, and based on that, even around the office at work, it's incredible how how much I can pass on to other people just by purely the change in my own knowledge of food and exercise and nutrition and that sort of thing. So it's amazing.
Yeah, we spent a bit of time, Dave and I both did some research on balancing blood sugar levels. Obviously with type 2 diabetes, we want to try and balance them out, not let them get too high. So finding the right ratios of carbohydrate, protein and fat with every meal was a key indicator to balancing out his blood sugar levels.
The lifestyle change has been enormous. I mean, I never would have thought 3 or 4 months ago, 5 months ago now, that I'd be buying kilos of broccoli and zucchini and spinach.
Tell me about the shakes, Dave.
You know, kilos of fresh meat and just, you know, fresh food. And I never would have thought I'd be eating more food now to lose weight than I was eating when I was putting on weight, which is a bizarre concept. The frequency of the meals is obviously one of the biggest tips that I learnt in terms of making sure that you're eating every couple of hours to keep the metabolism up. The ratio of you know, simple carbohydrates from fruit and veggie versus you know, starchy carbohydrates, and the quantity of fresh food that you're eating makes a massive difference, and just getting the balance of protein, fat and carbohydrates throughout the day would be the third one. I adapted, you know, straight away. It wasn't, there was no guessing involved in what I had to do. So getting a regimented plan for both nutrition and for exercise is what I wanted and what I needed. And I really didn't have any trouble sticking to it because I knew what I had to achieve.
Dave was pretty sure about everything that he needed and wanted when he first came in here, and Vision provided everything that he needed. So it was really, really easy for him to stick to it. I think, again, because he was just so far above the line about his health situation and what he had to do. So he adapted really quickly and really easily to it.
If I didn't stick to this regime, it is diet-controlled diabetes at the moment. So if that changes, then my condition changes, and then I risk having to take medication and then injections and all that sort of stuff. So the weight loss challenge, probably it just came at the right time. I think I'd lost sort of eight or so kilos before the weight loss challenge started. I hadn't had this opportunity before, but it turned out that I had a pretty competitive nature, and so the moment that there was a competition, there was a board on the wall that showed your weight loss, so I sort of kicked it up a notch, and I just focused on it. I would have focused on it anyway, but they're just having to be that accountable and having your stuff put on the wall. Jared would have a look at the board every day, and if I knew that if it wasn't a big drop for the week, that I'd get an email or a what's going on sort of thing. So the accountability was always there, and everyone else could see it as well, which just made a big difference.
Yeah, he lost 23.3 kilos in the 9-week weight loss challenge, which is just incredible. Dave took the last week of the challenge off work, and so he could spend more time in here training. Was in here for an hour and a half every day, or twice a day, sorry, morning and evening. Was in for all of the group sessions. Yeah, the perfect client, definitely, without a doubt. Kept his food diary. Was always asking questions, which was really good. He milked not only me but all the other trainers for everything that we knew about everything from diabetes, nutrition, training. Was always, you know, pulling us away from our work to discuss him, which he quite liked. So it was good that. But yeah, great results. He earned them. We worked really hard for them, and he earned them. Yeah. Well, Dave's pretty keen to switch up his training any day now and jump onto a muscle gain program. So once he's cracked the ton, once he's under 100 kilos, then we'll switch him up and put him, reduce the amount of cardio that he's doing and focus more on your compound movements and on a muscle gain program. So I think it'll be really good for him. He's been eating fat loss, you know, macronutrients for 5 or 6 months now. Once Dave's gone on muscle gain, I mean, I know he's pretty keen to work on the guns and bulk up, so other than the aesthetic side effects of it,
just benefits.
Dave will also be able to consume and store a little bit more carbohydrate with a bigger carbohydrate tank. I'm sure all Vision members know what I mean by that. So that's obviously a big bonus as well, that he'll be able to eat more and enjoy more foods.
When I first went back to the doctor, he was absolutely shocked because I don't think he believed that I would actually pull my finger out and do it. So the first time he saw him, I think I'd lost maybe 12 or 15 kilos, and it was enough to obviously to notice the difference, and he was just stunned. But even then, he still wasn't 100% sure that I'd come back in another month and have the same sort of result. So when I went back the second time, I think I'd lost well over 20 kilos. He was just amazed. He shook my hand. So instead of patting me on the back and telling me that I was a bad person, he shook my hand and said, "I wish all my patients were like you," which was really great. That made me feel really good. Because that's the biggest thing I've learned, is that it doesn't, like on the TV ads, it doesn't take 52 weeks to lose weight. It took me 4.5, 5 months to lose it and make that sort of change. I'd tell people how easy it is. It's a lot of hard work in one respect, but 5 or 6 months of hard work compared to 20 years of longer life it's nothing. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that you can make that change in a short amount of time. It's not that hard. I don't think I have a philosophy at the moment. I'm just so happy with feeling like I do, that nothing's too hard at the moment. So we'll see.